Hi, I am Hannah, and I'm going to be talking about the book Untangled. Um, it is about guiding teenage girls through the 7 transitions into adulthood. And just for your reference, those 7 transitions are 1, parting with childhood, 2, joining a new tribe, 3, harnessing emotions, 4, contending with adult authority, 5, planning for the future, 6, entering the romantic world, and 7, caring for herself. So I'll talk about a few of those in the questions that I'm going to discuss in the video, and then the other ones are discussed more in detail in the comments below. But to start off, the first question is, how does your belief in the eternal family influence aspects of the need for a tribe? If at all, why or why not? So my belief in the eternal family hugely influences aspects of the need for a tribe. So for your reference, the need for a tribe is when an adolescent girl is leaving childhood. They still need a secure base and a social group where they feel connected and secure and accepted. And because they're choosing to leave their childhood behind and kind of detach and disconnect from their family and from their parents, they need to find that social connectedness through the form of a peer social group or a tribe. And as I was reading about that, I thought about the plan of salvation and how when we come to earth, we detach ourselves from our heavenly parents and leave their physical presence, obviously, and come down to earth. And because we still need and long for that social connectedness, the plan is to have eternal families, to organize ourselves in that way, to have a connection and support in a secure base. That's the plan. That's God's plan for us here on earth. And similarly, when girls detach themselves from their family, they still need that security, right? And that's why they have their tribe. That's why they have that need for a tribe. Sorry. Like an eternal family, a tribe provides its members with happiness, challenges, acceptance, and friendship. And that's an eternal family does as well. They both can provide their members a feeling of acceptance and security. And there's happy things and challenges and trials and disagreements in both the tribe and an eternal family. But they're there to support the members and to give them a sense of security and attachment. So that is one of the ways that I saw how an eternal family kind of parallels the transition that an adolescent girl goes through when she leaves childhood and moves into adolescence in seeking that social tribe. It's kind of like how we seek for an eternal family because we've left the presence of our Heavenly Father. The second question is define externalization and discuss how understanding this concept can help parents to help their daughters. I'm just going to read what the definition is because it does a better job of explaining it than I could. So externalization is a technical term describing how teenagers sometimes manage their feelings by getting their parents to have their feelings instead. In other words, they toss you an emotional hot potato. Externalization is something that a teenage daughter does unconsciously to relieve emotional distress. So it's a way of handing off their emotional distress to someone that they feel that cares about them and loves them and will be there for them no matter what. And oftentimes that's their parent. Teenage girls often can't use externalization with other teenage girls because they have their arms full of emotional hot potatoes and they can't take someone else's on for them. But it's a profound form of empathy, and it goes beyond the feeling of feeling something with your daughter to the point of actually feeling something on her behalf. The author of the book gave an example when she was in college. It was her first semester of college, and she was going to school out on the East Coast, and she was from Colorado, and she was just feeling very isolated and lonely and sad. So she called up her mom and she's like, Mom, like, I just don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is what I should be doing out here. Like, I didn't do this great on a test and I'm feeling lonely and life just kind of sucks right now. And kind of just unloaded that emotional distress onto her mother. And then she talks about how she got off the phone and she went with her friend and they went out to like eat dinner and had a fun night. And she didn't really think about that conversation with her mom. But the next morning, her dad called her and she was like, hey, like, are you doing okay? Like, mom stayed up all night last night because she couldn't sleep because she was so worried about you. So that's an example of externalization. She just handed off her emotional problems to her mom until she was ready to pick them back up and take them on herself, while understanding and knowing that her mom was going to take those on for her. But it's a unconscious process. It's not like she was like, I'm gonna call my mom so that she'll take this on for me. It's just something that kind of happens, and it happens quickly, honestly, before either party really understands what is going on necessarily. And the reason that the author brings this up, or at least one of the reasons, is because oftentimes it's important when this happens for the parents to not really do anything. Oftentimes their first reaction is to solve the problem. In the case of the author, her mom wanted to get in the car and drive across the country, pack up food and clothes and bring it to her daughter and comfort her and give her the love and the friendship that she felt like she was lacking. But her daughter didn't really need that. And oftentimes when a teenage girl comes to their parent and uses externalization to help them with whatever they're going through, they're not really looking for a solution to the problem. So it's better that the parent just doesn't do anything, because if they jump in and try and fix things, they could end up doing more damage than they intend to. So it's good to know. It's good to understand that process and to be able to kind of realize that as long as you give yourself time with whatever your daughter brings to you, it can often work itself out in terms of externalization. The last question is, reflect on which strands of this book might apply to boys as well and how they might look similar or different. So honestly, personally, I think all 7 strands apply to boys because they're experiencing similar things with their transition into adulthood. And obviously, each one is going to affect them differently. But I wanted to talk about 2 main ones: parting with childhood and joining a tribe. So parting with childhood is something that every adolescent has to do, boys and girls. And it's important that they do so at their own time. But oftentimes it's similar timing. It'll be different for each individual, but it's typically similar. Physically leaving childhood, as far as like your physical changes, is something that both boys and girls do, but it's different in the way, obviously, in which they leave childhood physically, and also in the timing of it. Girls begin puberty much earlier than boys do. Training bras, getting your period, hair growth, those are all things that they typically experience before boys go through puberty. And so there are their own sets of challenges that come with that, and it's important for parents to be aware of both. Joining a tribe is another thing that both genders experience. Both boys and girls need to feel accepted and a part of a social group or a tribe. That's an important part of adolescence. However, the way in which boys and girls both approach and experience their social tribes are very different. Boys are generally a lot more assertive than girls are, and girls are more likely to have frenemies. Boys aren't. They don't like someone, they're probably not going to pretend to be their friend, whereas girls will in order to be a part of a social group that they want to be a part of. Additionally, one big similarity between both genders is that both boys and girls will participate in riskier behavior when they're with their peers or when they're with their social tribe or group. And so that's one of the main similarities I found. And then just, the social aggression. Girls are more likely to be socially aggressive than boys are, and that obviously plays a role in their joining a tribe experience, being a member of a tribe. So that kind of is a little rundown about the 3 questions about the book. It really was awesome. I really loved it. I'm going to give it to my mom to read because I have a little sister who's 11 and she's about to transition into adulthood, I guess. And it was kind of reflective for me to be able to read through it and to like see things from a different perspective or a different lens and be able to understand maybe my behavior as an adolescent going through middle school and high school and how I interacted with my parents. It was helpful to see that a lot of my reactions and interactions with my parents was very natural and normative. So it's a great book. I'd suggest reading it, and that's all.